sounding all too familiar? Well, you're not alone. We at the Boers Bernstein Show are now allowing you to come clean and reveal your home improvement disasters in a little segment we like to call Tales of Home Improvement Disasters. All right, so the name isn't that creative. Whatever. And now it's time for Tales of Home Improvement Disasters.
Rusty's bored.
Tighten this up. Hey, what's this loose wire?
Apparently, without unknown to us right here on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score, some fumes are apparently filtering into the studio of one Rusty Scupper. What's the matter with him? All right. Home improvement disasters. And mine was, here's what, in the old days, I lived in a condo, not very long, and you share an attic with your neighbor.
I know her, by the way, Sharon Attic.
Share an attic.
Yeah.
And our neighbor happened to be really an old woman who hadn't had a man in her life in a long time. And she was sort of, she's the kind of woman who hated everything, kids, small animals,
You and drag.
furry beasts, unfurry beasts,
Mm-hmm.
otters. So I was having trouble. I had I have to have my TV deal. So we had to put the TV antenna in the attic.
That's where mine is.
Yeah. It's not a comfortable thing. Well, I was having trouble with it.
Oh, and you went up.
The only access to it was through a trap door in her part of the building,
Right.
not in ours. So I had to go in there and ask her. She didn't really like us anyway because we had kids that were alive. And
You
she
didn't
like
step
that.
off a beam, did you?
I stepped off a beam and went right through her ceiling.
Completely?
Onto her floor. Yes, I did. And it...
Hey, buddy.
I always got to think, well, if I wasn't probably so heavy, and I'm thinking, no, it was like balsa wood. Dope, you can't step on that. And I never quite got to the antenna. I mean, I went right through into her.
This is when you were fat, too.
Yeah, it just, it's like, and I racked myself.
Terry, this must explain all your ailments nowadays.
I think this has something to do with it because, I racked myself. I hit myself on a beam. And
All right, let's turn it over to you. Bando on a car phone, you're on the score. Friday Fung.
Hey guys, what's happening?
You're happening.
All right, back when I was in high school, we moved into a new house, and we decided that we needed to get our basement finished. So my parents, trying to save a few bucks, just pulled some random ad out of the paper. A few days later, this shady Serbian character shows up on our doorstep, and, he starts working on our basement, and he had a couple helpers with him. They ended up walking off the job at our house because he wasn't paying them. And so he ended up finishing it himself. Took about, I'd say, 4 weeks longer than it was supposed to. And to this day, we have this supposed support column in our basement. If you so much as blow on it, 5 to 10 ceiling tiles fall to the floor.
Well, that's not exactly the kind of story we're looking for involving shady Serbian characters. Like Vlade the Clown. I don't know. But
shady Serbian characters.
That'll be different Friday Fung, I guess. Well, Tom says, acknowledging my limited handyman skills, I thought I could easily handle replacing an old basement window with a ready-made glass block window. Made some measurements, bought the window, and some glass block window cement was ready to go. When it came time to put the window in, I had a brilliant thought. This steel band around the glass block window is unnecessary. I shall cut it with one of my tools. I cut the steel band, and soon after, a glass block broke loose. And I thought I could put it back in place. After a few more minutes, just about the entire unit came apart. Got a new window and installed it, this time with the steel band intact. Carphone Tim, you're on Friday Fung on the score. Tim.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, yeah. I'm on?
Yes.
Hi, guys. How we doing?
We're in the surf, my friend. Go ahead.
Listen, I've got a little plumbing story for you.
Sounds like you're in the middle of one now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the crapper. Hey, listen, I was at my house, and a neighbor came over to use the bathroom. They were visiting. They had to use the bathroom. They clogged it up. So
you know what? We're not continuing this.
Yeah, because
I have doubts.
There's several ways that could happen, and most of them I don't want to know about.
Yeah,
I have that problem.
I just have doubts.
Yeah, doubts.
We got to be careful. Mark in Buffalo Grove, you're on the score.
Hey, guys, let me first tell you that Friday Fung and the 3 o'clock post time start every weekend with me. Got to tell you a story. When I took possession of my brand-new house up here in the northern suburbs, first of all, the lady who sold to me was very elderly, and you got the sense that she was pressured with quotas. Well, anyway, the first thing I did was I waterproofed my brand new dry basement so that I had that nice shiny finish throughout all 600 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got to the end, I had a little pipe leak, and there was a little water on the bottom. And I put in a call on this lady, and I said, we got a little problem. I got water in the basement. Well, she comes over the next day and descends the steps and sees the entire shiny surface and had to grab her right there. I had to call the ambulance, and she spent 3 days in the CCU unit, and then she retired shortly afterwards.
CCU, a critical care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, let's
You
go
never
over this
know
again.
when you push a button here what the hell you're going to hear.
And, you know, he's got a 600-foot square basement, which is bigger than my trailer. And so I admire it, but I think can you help us again here? I think we're losing touch, Dr. Five.
Here's an example. Elusive Norwegian lake beast says, I love my dad.
That's shady Serbian.
No, says, I love my dad dearly, but he isn't exactly Mr. Handyman. On 2 occasions, he put a knee through the ceiling of bedrooms on the top story of our split level. On both occasions, he was installing ceiling fans. First in my room, where his knee slipped off a ceiling joist, hit my ceiling, and caused it to buckle. You can still see the cracks to this day. It's not a problem. The second time occurred in my sister's room when his knee also slipped off the ceiling joist, and this time his knee went completely through the ceiling, leaving a nice hole.
That's easy to do. That's why I don't go up there anymore. I'll never climb again, Sir Edmund Hillary. I will never climb again.
Except if Tenzing Norgay comes by with a bottle of cheap wine, and then,
I'll climb him and I'll mount him.
Jake on a car phone, you're on the score.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, buddy.
In an attempt to do a very nice thing, I decided to go to my mom's house one day and clean out all the gutters, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time doing it. So I got to the roof of the ranch and went up there with the leaf blower and just to blow all the leaves out of the gutters.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the leaves were still wet, and subsequently stuck to all of the windows of the house. Subsequently, all the time I saved blowing the leaves out rather than reaching down and grabbing them was spent cleaning the windows.
That's what we're talking about.
Perfect.
That's what we're talking about here.
Sully in Champaign, you're on the score.
I have another dopey dad story for you. This took place back in the mid-'50s. My father won a cheap tea kettle at a church bazaar, and he gets the thing home and puts water in it, and he's got the flame blasting under it, and it wouldn't whistle. And he kept blasting it and blasting it and blasting it, and it wouldn't whistle. So finally, he turns the flame off and pulls the top off and puts his lips on the on the edges of the kettle and blows into it to see if there's an obstruction or something. Well, he walked around for about a month or so looking like he kissed a panther's ass.
I don't even know what it means.
Again, can you shepherd us back here to where we should be? We seem to have lost touch.
Let's try
once again with the concept here.
This is from Hub's Watermelon, who says, in my house, the previous owners spent a lot of money to put in a mudroom off the garage. Had a lot of space for winter coats and shoes. That was a nice feature off my living room heading into the garage. One problem, however, was I could not fit my 1963 Chevy Super Sport in the garage due to this mudroom. So what I decided to do on my own was to cut out part of the mudroom. That what I figured would be the easiest way with a saw and a hammer. So one Saturday, I decided I would shave off a portion of the room so I could fit my car into the garage. What started in my mind as a 2-hour project turned into a 24-hour battle with plywood, drywall, 2x4s, and tile that was on the floor. In the end, I had completely ruined the mudroom, had to hire a private contractor to repair all the damage that I caused in trying to get that car in the garage. The worst part, I ended up selling the car right after the private contractor hired to fix this mess. $5,000.
Ow. Ow.
That's like an O. Henry ending if you actually have to sell the car to pay the contract.
I know what he's saying, though, about the old car.
You want to take care of it.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Is it a nice car?
63 Super Sport? Yeah, it's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd like to have one.
Julio in Northbrook, you're on the score.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we moved into a house, and my wife wanted to change the tile in the bathroom, and it would have cost about $200, and she didn't want to. So one day I thought, if I cause some water damage, I'll be able to do it. So I turned on the tub, and I was going to let it overflow. Well, while it was filling, I went downstairs.
Wait, are you talking about insurance fraud?
No fraud at all. I wanted to change the tile in the bathroom, but my wife said no because it was going to be $200.
Oh, I see. So to convince your wife you needed to be done. Okay.
Right. So I turned the tub on, and while I was waiting for it to overflow, I went downstairs, smoked it.
I feel, for some reason, I feel like I need to hire a border collie. You know what I'm talking about? Because the flock seems to be out somewhere.
Here's another. I'll give you yet another example.
Do this again. Yeah,
all right,
is his microphone on?
Scott and Rochelle says about 2 years ago, shortly after my wife and I had bought our home, we redid the bathroom. We just painted the room, and it was my job to install the towel rack. Nothing too difficult. Just a bar and a couple of brackets. I began drilling the holes. My wife walked in and saw where the holes were. The holes were in the wrong place, by far, not even close. I was so mad that I took a bracket and I threw it on the floor while screaming, "Damn it!" The bracket hit the floor, bounced up, went through our front picture window, shattering the window. My wife, bless her calm soul, looked at me and said, "You dumb son of a bitch."
I got to tell you something. Before the bathroom was painted, I had at least 25 holes in the wall from doing that stuff with towel racks. At least minimum of 25. Everywhere I put it fell off. I can't
use a molly screws.
I could have, but I chose not to. And then I needed a stud finder.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and I didn't want Peach out doing that kind of work. So I mean, it just I had like. I'm telling you, it looked like I had cicadas. It was just all over the damn bathroom. That's basically the reason I got
nobody came and tried to stop you.
No. Look, how do you stop a moron?
Taser. Tom on a car phone. You're on Friday Fung. Home improvement disasters on the score. How are you?
Dan, Terry, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I remember this well. I was about 8 years old. My father decided to redo the bathroom, and he had me come along and, make sure that everything was okay. He was going to have me supervise, kind of. And he took out the toilet and bought a new power flusher, 2000 model, and he installed it, except he forgot one thing, the wax ring. To this day, he still tells my mother it was my fault.
All right, I'm going to go take a break here. If you're not, I'm going to take one. I'm going to go out and I'm going to reconnoiter.
We need the Score's border collie.
Yeah,
but he needs a name too.
Maybe we should just stick to emails.
The emails seem to get it a little better.
Did anybody save their sipping whiskey? Did you take it home?
I took it home.
Okay. All right, because I could use a little something.
You hit yourself in the head with a bottle.
Well, it's either there or somewhere. Yeah, I did that. I need a little to calm myself because somehow I think it's there.
We'll get this thing.
Yeah, it's
back
there.
To the tracks.
But a name for the Scores.
Sometimes our segments we should have a little. We should have a little like. And what the border collie does is he goes running out. And with a few verbal cues, his natural instincts take over, and he simply shepherds the flock to where it needs to be.
Aren't they supposedly the smartest dogs of any?
Oh, they're unbelievable.
Yeah. They can do this show.
They could easily do this show.
Some would say they have been.
Not my dog, of course.
But I would like. We could use. Can you, Scott? Well, you're not busy, and I know you're not. We're not find a border collie.
We need the Boers and Bernstein border collie
because
helps shepherd the flock.
It's straying. Yeah. I mean, the emails are good. That's solid. That's what we're talking about.
All right, we'll
everybody
continue.
else, their bathroom tile is falling off, and Pappy's a big flusher, and people are coming over and using your restroom, and you're smoking a joint, and then what was that the name of this segment?
I think caller Ruth is going to tell us about some home improvement disaster trying to build a roof in Greece. Sports Radio 670, the Score.
It's Friday.
Brian and Crystal Lake, you're on the Score.
My wife ran away with a plumber.
Well, guys, I don't think I'm as drinky as Terry, but I got a pretty good one.
Okay.
My wife and I have been married for 12 years and lived in an apartment in Chicago, and we finally got a house out here in the northwest suburbs. And she told me when we moved out here, she said, the basement is yours. And the guy had two bedrooms and a workroom. So I called some of my buddies over, and we were going to tear it out. Make it all big, one open floor, so I could put my big screen and my golden tea and my pool table and make my bear room down there.
There you go.
So we started sledgehammering, and my buddy said, well, what about this one? I said, well, that's going to block the view of everything. Knock it down. I had never heard of the word support wall. So we tore it down, and as soon as we did, 3/4 of my kitchen collapsed, and 1/4 of my living room collapsed on top of us, and the city of Hoffman Estates came out we had to call the fire department because it broke a gas line.
Oh, my God.
And then they put a little orange sticker. Well, it wasn't very little. You could read it from the road. It said, "This house uninhabitable."
They condemned your property.
Yes, and, well, my insurance paid for it, but it was like $56,820.
And your wife ran away with the gas man?
No, she didn't run away, but she's called me dumbass ever since.
Well, yeah.
And she'd be right.
I mean, that big orange sign should just be read dope. You don't need any of
Wow.
We're kidding you.
Whoa, that's a winner there.
That's a winner, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, have a winner. I think we do. And we have a name for our border collie, by the way.
What is it?
Acta, Red, TV, Huckleberry Hound, Scooby-Doo. Quick Jimmy Crew. Zach in Lincoln Park, you're on the score.
Love your show.
Love your suit.
I used to go to the University of Iowa, and in the summers I'd help my uncle at his shop out there. He lived about half an hour away from campus. And one morning he came in and said that this oak tree that was by his house had blown over and was leaning on the house, but it didn't really crash through, so he wanted to cut it up and, throw it off there. So I go over to help him, and he scurries up there with his chainsaw and starts to cut off this about 2-foot diameter branch that was sticking out perpendicular from the house. Now, I don't know, it might have been the sipping whiskey talking, but he was straddling the line he was cutting. And so when he got about 3/4 of the way through, not only did the branch swing down and smash through his picture window, but he took a stage dive down to the yard.
I think we need a special category for home improvement disasters in Iowa. Because really, even if you get it right, even if everything goes well, you're still
In
living
Iowa. Yeah.
Hardphone John.
Mr. Alfred appreciated the work, though.
You're on the score. John.
John, it's me. I'm sorry. Okay, I had a foundation leak of some sort, and I had bees going in and out of there. So I went to the home center, and they said, well, you got to get rid of the bees first and get this sealant. And I said, okay. So I sprayed the bees on the outside, and I noticed they were still crawling into the basement, into the crawl space. So I went around into the crawl space, and I'm crawling under there, and I go to spray the bees, and I put my knee down on the ground, and as I was spraying, the whole floor was just packed with bees. There were thousands of bees.
That's a nightmare for me.
Oh,
That
my
is just.
God.
Were they bees or were they yellow jackets? Were they actual honeybees?
They were honeybees.
Okay.
And they just went berserk. So now I jump back. I got stung a few times in the knee. I jump back. I lean into my water tank. It was unincorporated area, so I had a water tank under the house. As I leaned into the water tank, I broke the pipe. Water starts squirting all over. Bees are stinging me. My wife and kids are on the end of the room, and my kid just looked at my wife and said, "Poor Dad." And then bees started coming up into the house, and they stung my wife and my family, and we had to have the house fumigated, and they all hated me for a long time.
Oh, my God. That literally would be the stuff of nightmares for me.
I could picture him like with that beard of bees. You see those guys, he comes up out of the basement. Well, did you see any bees? No, not really.
By the way, that's how you know if a Simpsons episode has been written by Conan O'Brien.
What, a beard of bees?
There's always a reference. One of Conan's favorite comedy references is the beard of bees. Grandpa Simpson, I loved her. I wore a beard of bees for her. And even now on the show, he will every once in a while, whether he has to or not, make some reference to a beard of bees. But you know that doesn't happen naturally. The bees don't.
Oh, you don't gather like a beard on you?
No, they don't. They don't generally congregate in beard formation. They're actually placed there.
I'm sorry. I've had a bee. I've had a bad reaction.
All right, is that it for this? Okay, so that's it. Friday Fung. Thank you for your support.
Thank you and good night. Okay. All right.
The border collie's tired. Aston needs rest.
How about Rin? You okay?
At the Rin Dimmy. Rin Tin Tin. Hong Kong Fooey.
He could be.
Clifford.
The border collie could be Rin Tin Tin.
Rin Tin Tin a border collie?
No,
German
but
Shepherd.
Close enough. Well, you can only name a dog. He has to be a German Shepherd.
No.
Name him Rintin.
Well, I thought you would say that because it so happened they rented him with a border collie.
No, it doesn't happen. I think he's a brave dog that would keep this flock in order. He's a very brave little soldier.
We have to have a special dog just for Caller Chuck. Never lets him out of his sight.
A dog that would be trained to go nut hunting. No, I mean, Chuck is fine. I never know what he's talking about, and he seems to be happy because he obviously doesn't know what we're talking about.
That's Boers Bernstein.